So I've got a special guest here. Read your chat. I can't talk. All right, we're switching topics now, and we've got a topic that is really, really important. All right, guys, so we're waiting for our guest. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm waiting. Oh, we're live. Oh. Someone said that if it's this way, we can get killed today. No. Doctor,
Hey,
I've
one
been
and
how many
only Daddy Freeze. Ah.
as you're traveling from the USA to buy land for land banking, a portion of Ekpe. I was there myself. I cut the ribbon. When are we going to get the videos so I can release the videos? Those videos were nice.
Yeah,
Especially of me cutting.
we have it. In fact, the one for channels, they sent it to me. I'll probably forward it to you. It was fantastic. Channels television, like a recap. I saw it. I said, this is the chairman Daddy Freeze.
Oh, and would you believe it or not?
Mm,
Because there's been a raging debate
okay.
about investing in Nigeria. I'm sure you must have caught a little bit of it here and there.
Yeah.
This
Is
is
it
it
is it the
start,
one about buying wristwatch versus buying land or something?
it started with the demolition of houses. So I
Oh,
made it about no buy house for Lagos, so no buy house for Abuja, or then they demolish house, so buy watch
oh,
instead. Started as
oh.
very dark black man now attacked me, and I now went to show proof that come over the past few years, at least 10 years, houses themselves have not held forth the way some watches, not all watches, or some watches have been able to hold. And
Yeah.
then some of your people contacted me and said, have you thought about land banking? And I was like,
Okay.
wow. So there's one thing my mother always, not my mother, I think I picked it from even you. Don't take financial advice from someone who's not as rich as you. So since you are,
Mm.
let us now hear land banking advice. At least I'm not a billionaire yet. You already are a billionaire. So let's talk about this. I've got a few questions for you, but first of all, introduce yourself and then let us go into the meat of today's matter.
Okay, I'm Stephen Akintayo. I'm known as Africa's most influential investment coach. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an author, speaker. I've written over 40 books. Real estate is my forte. We started a real estate company, over a little over a few years ago as a brokerage, but later, 8 years, we went into development. Today, we're in Dubai. We sell properties in UK, US, Nigeria as well. We just launched a new development in Katy, Houston, um, Katy, Houston, 40 acre. We're going to be building the largest green and smart home in America there. It's going to take us another 5 to 7 years to complete. So we did an open house last Saturday. It was so wild that the freeze was in our estate. I was in our Katy, Houston estate doing the open house for it. So that's a little about me. Yes.
Dr. Stephen,
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations on your Forbes Best of Africa in Real Estate Award.
Yeah.
Ha! You see, whatever exploits you are doing in Houston, in the US, in Dubai, Ford, and I said Ford, Forbes recognizing you, in my opinion, is a milestone in the life of any entrepreneur. Tell us
Yeah.
about Ford.
Well, it's humbling. I mean, for me, I was really humbled. I won't lie to you because I think I'm the youngest to get such an award in the history of Forbes Best of Africa. Several people have gotten it for different aspects. And so it's quite humbling, really, really humbling. In fact, I remember during the UN General Assembly, they did the one for other African countries. When I was saying, I mean, big top CEOs, presidents of nations, come on. Well, this is a big award. I didn't even know it was that big until I went to Forbes office in New York and I saw it was a big one. But we give God the glory. I'm encouraged to work harder and to carry my yoke in the days of my youth.
Talking about working harder, don't you work hard enough? You
Well,
are coming from the US. Where are you now? Because I saw you on the plane and you were
yeah, I'm
going
in
somewhere.
London. I'm speaking in Geneva. They're starting the e-week. Is a trade event in Geneva. So I'm going to Geneva tomorrow, but I have to come through London.
So you are in London going to Geneva to speak coming from Houston while
Yes.
coordinating Nigeria.
Yeah.
Want to work harder. No, Dr. Stephen, I think you need to have God's phone number so you can tell him that, God, please, me, I need 25 hours in my own day. Because that's
Yes, yes, yes. I have to do that one. That one I agree. I I agree absolutely. In fact, I had to cut a meeting to join you now. I mean, I agree, but for me, I'm enjoying it. I think when you do what I'm enjoying it because for me, what I think is the beauty of my life is that I'm not just making money that it frees. I'm helping other people make money. Aside even those who invested in our company, I know so many people. I went to Kenya. A gentleman now has 6 estates. From watching my videos on land banking, started his own real estate business in Kenya, and now has 6 estates in Kenya. I was in Cameroon, the same thing. Ghana, the same thing. The guy took me to his construction, over $1 million, Nigerian based in Ghana. I couldn't believe it. So as I travel all over the world, I'm meeting people who I say, I learned this thing from you. I've started my own real estate company. I'm doing well. So you're making money, you are happy, but there's more fulfillment that it's not just about you, right? It's like a whole movement that is changing lives of people. So for me, there's so much gratitude to God for that.
For my viewers joining this session, can we know about your background and how you started your real estate journey? And what do you personally define as real estate? Because right now, person where they build Face Me, I Face You for Ikorodu, beside the lagoon, if for a mine inside real estate, he will call himself developer. If what exactly is real estate according to the words of Dr. Stephen Akintayo? And what's been your real estate journey? It will also be a nice thing if you can sneak in your age. A lot of people want to know how old you are so that they can measure themselves by you, of course, and say, I failed in my life. Oh. Or
Nah.
just a hope still there. So
No.
tell us your real estate journey.
Well, so I started real estate as a broker. I mean, I think I've shared on your platform. When I finished
Yeah.
from Musu, I was looking for a job. There was no job. I printed 100 CV. I did a cover letter. Said, don't pay me for 6 months until I prove myself. You, and the first place I took my CV, they said there's no table and chair. That's why they won't give me the job. The second place, true story, I gave my CV to the receptionist. She collected it. I said I wanted to collect her job and walk away. And for minutes, she didn't come out. I had to excuse myself from their building. The third place, the person looked at me and said, "Oh God, there's no job in Nigeria." And this is over 10 years ago, about 15 years or so. That there's no job in Nigeria. And the person advised that since I started business on campus and I started business, and that's, I think, the age I had. I started business at, I think, age of 17, 18. And of course, most of the businesses were failing. But I think I'd gotten a lot of foundational understanding of some core things. So it helped me later in life. So I had to pick up one of the business I started on Cabo, which was bulk SMS, and then real estate as a broker, because I didn't have money to start my own. So I was selling for people. They would give me commission, 10% on land. Then about 8 years ago, we had become big in the digital marketing. We were doing SMS, email marketing. Chivita was our client. PZ was our clients, because we were really big when it comes to helping companies, markets using email, SMS, social media. Funny enough, I even have a diploma here in the UK in digital marketing. So I
Hey,
started way back, when it comes to, lead, using social media. And I think it still helps me today because I really understand how social media works. I mean, if you want to bring me down, that's the wrong place to come. Because I know how that one works. Where I'd helped many people before you can say I retired to then focus on real estate development 8 years ago. So the real estate development was easy to move faster because the marketing aspect was sorted. And while I was faithful in other people's, like that scripture says, if you are not faithful in that which is another man, who will give you your own? Because I was also faithful in other people's business when I was selling for them, they opened me up to the secret of the trade. So I got to understand how real estate development work. And, so my growth was a lot faster on my own. 8 years later, we're in US, we're in UK, we're in Dubai, we're in Nigeria as well. Now, what is real estate? For me, real estate is basically land and anything on the land. And that's what real estate really is. What is land banking? Land banking is the process of aggregating land for the purpose of investment or development. So what that means is that it's not just buying land. So somebody who is from Ondo State, now go and buy land in his village and say, oh, well, that's not land banking. Land banking is understanding, understanding the places where a major city, and then you go and look for the outskirts. You know that the population will still meet you, and then you go and
Mm.
wait for the growth there. And that's what people did with Lekki. I mean, you and I know that. I mean, before Lekki was VI, was Ikoyi, Lekki was thick forest. Some people risked it and they bought Lekki. And today now, I mean, Lekki babe, Lekki boy, Lekki everything. Some other people missed Lekki, they moved to Lekki phase 2. The thing meets them. Some people was Ajah, they caught up with the thing. It met them. Some people is Abraham Adesoya. Some of us, commercially, it was Ibejuleki and Ekpe, we caught up to the thing. And we're still making a huge kill for it. So it's for you to understand where is a major city. Can you come to the where population is growing? For example, our Katy property, anybody who is in US will tell you, if they are based in Houston, is Sugarland first, then Richmond, then Katy. So Sugarland is already fully developed. Richmond is practically fully developed. Katy is the new place that development is growing. It's like the Lekki in those days of Lagos. So Pam went to get 40 acre. Boom, we're beginning to build. So naturally, there's no way we will not hammer.
Sorry to interrupt you, but this Houston idea sounds so appetizing, especially since it is abroad and it is hedged on the dollar.
Yeah.
What does it take to be an investor in your real estate sojourn, or should I call it land? Is it land banking in Houston, or it's real estate proper?
For Houston, it's proper development because we're not selling land. We looked at it, and I'll tell you why we decided not to sell land. We would have loved to sell land. We're still technically open to sell land to certain big time developers because 40 acre is big, right? So if we see big time developers, we're open to that. But what we realize is that they don't give, mortgage on land as such. In the US, they give more of the mortgage on the house because in their own mind, a house is generating income. You see the way that most of the finance, companies look at it. So we felt that if we sell land to our people, and you know what I'm saying, that if we sell land to them now, to raise that, let's say the land is even 70 million per plot. You start seeing people say, can I be paying $30,000? And the whole thing will just mess up, in your hand with that. So we felt we'll do more of housing, right? We have gotten a lender that will give them 70% mortgage. So they just need, even if they are Nigerians, they just need to bring 30%. And we've decided to even give them 6 months to contribute their own 30% because we too were perfecting the building approval. In the US, there's a whole process around, okay, you've shown them what you want to do. Then they do a lot of review to then approve, the entire layout and all of that. So we have said, okay, we'll give you 6 months to pay that 30%. We already have a lender that will give you the remaining 70%. So that way, you are owning a brand new house in the US. And those who are based in the US know it's very, very difficult to see a brand new house. Most houses people buy is already 10-year-old, it's already 15-year-old, 20-year-old. And the capital appreciation of such houses don't rise fast. But when you own a brand new house in US, almost every year, you have a very huge capital appreciation. Once you get valuers to come, they already value the house higher and higher. So that's option one. Option two for the KD investment is for you to just invest. We're raising $10 million for the whole construction and everything we want to do. You can invest, of course, if you're a US citizen and you are investing via our US fund. Is a US Security Exchange, regulated fund, meaning we cannot take less than $50,000. There's a whole lot of KYC to it. US is a very regulated country. So we can't take that. But if you are investing through our Nigerian or Dubai company, you can do less than 50,000. You can do as low as $10,000, right? For that one. But we're a registered fund in the US. We're registered with the US SEC, and it's called GVES Capital, Investment Capital, and people can invest. And so either of the two. So either you are dropping 30% towards a house and we get you mortgage for 70%, or you are investing your cash and we use it to build the houses and you get returns. Of course, don't come and be expecting the kind of returns they give you in Nigeria. All this this is US. Even if your return is at a level, you will be shocked that they will come to your sec with lock on your door and say, yeah, explain how are you making this kind of money to say you are giving your investors this kind of return. So it's a very regulated environment compared to Africa.
Okay, I want to ask two questions. Quite actually, a lot of questions, but I don't want to keep you here longer than you'll have wanted to. But you see, U.S. houses are built are built with plywood and wood, while some are built with concrete. All Nigerian houses are built with concrete and block. What are you using in your development? Is it normal US prefab plywood style housing, or are you using concrete like we use in Nigeria?
Yeah, so typically, once you're doing single family homes, typically is the prefab thingy that you use. But once you're doing apartments, you're going higher, then either you're using steel, and concrete. So for the estates, a portion of it is single family homes, and those ones will just be normal wood. While a portion of it we're going a bit higher, doing apartments 6 to 8 story, and those ones definitely were using steel and a bit of concrete as well, because we're going much higher. So it depends on the building type, actually.
I love the way you know your onions, and I love the way you are grounded. Some people will know about the marketing part but don't know anything about the building part, so they'll just get stuck and start calling the assistant. Hey, come on. so that, and that also would serve to give investors confidence. I like to tell people there's no sure investment in this life. Nothing is 100% sure. But you see, when you calculate an investment or the risk of an investment, and when you work with professionals, you reduce the liability of the risk upon yourself, at least because you are working with professionals. Nothing is sure 100%. So I love it when I have professionals who are explaining these things, because right now there's so many Nigerians who want to invest, and there's so many foreigners who also want to invest, and they're looking for the best possible way. Of course, they all know the risks involved in business and investing. One more question, two questions. Can a man in Nigeria like me, for instance, if I wanted to invest in this Houston project, would I be able to get a mortgage, or I have to pay cash?
Yeah, so that's what I'm explaining, that we have already gotten secured a mortgage for everybody who will buy with us. And, yes, and we have gotten that they just need to drop 30%. And we have to make it just flat. I understand that some people will be like, oh, but I'm a citizen. I could do, but because we're going to be doing between 400 and 500 units in that 40 acre. So you just need to just make it simple instead of multiple people. So we partner with a finance company that's okay, fine. Let's just generalize it, whether they are Nigerians in Nigeria or Nigerians in US, whether they are citizens or not. Let's just generalize it. They bring 30%, we bring 70%. So we're getting a mortgage for them that for 70%, and what they need to do drop is 30%, and we'll give them 6 months to pay this 30%, right? So that way they are able to, so yes, the mortgage is the third party who is going to be helping them with that. So that just makes the job easier, right? You bring 30%, you get your mortgage. And the good news is, I mean, those who are living in Houston, they know that rental income in Katy is very good. So when you look at parents who have children abroad, right? Parents who have children abroad and they are looking for, trying to always change naira to dollar. This can solve their problem because once you have this house, you rent it out. What the tenant is paying you, you can be using it to support your children in school, right? And see how you can help them. So we realize that this will help a lot of even Nigerians who are maybe they're in Canada or they're in UK. I just want to also invest in the US. So it doesn't matter where you are. But let me also warn that this is not is Nigerian owned, but it's not, we're not targeting just Nigerian. Let me, in fact, the listing age brokerage firm is Keller Williams. They are probably number one or number two, depending on which state in US you are. So everybody is open to invest. It's not just that typically being that the investors, the owners are Nigerians. So it's normal that we will at least tell our people opportunity, wow, and all of that. And if they want to, even if you still come, we will still, once your 30% is complete, to close it, we still have to link you with Keller Williams because they are the brokers we are allowed to deal with. And for us, we also felt to protect ourselves as well, right? It's better to work with these big guys because Daddy Freeze, trust me, people will come to there, we like you, want to do business with you. After a while, it's like see if the thing turn their head somehow. They want to come after you again. So we have decided to say, like, deal with a broker. We are developers. There's a broker who is in between, who will close your deal. If you have anything, go and talk to the broker. Leave us alone to do our job. So one has to be smart about these things as well.
Okay. I wanted to ask a question, and this is the question on every Nigerian's mind. I have money. I want to buy a house with you, but I don't have an American visa.
You don't need to have a visa to to do business. A lot of, and I think that's the mistake people make. And I've seen our people make this mistake a lot, where we think that I need to live in a country to invest. As I speak to you, I'm not a US resident, right? And I'm doing an investment that big. When we're done, we probably will have put in the next 7 years. We can't spend less than $100 million on that project alone. Of course, we're getting a lot of financing and all of that to make it easy, which you don't get in Nigeria. But the truth is that you don't need to say, okay, am I living a place? These worlds are way better structured. I remember when we opened our Dubai office, a lot of people couldn't believe that they don't live in Dubai yet. Every month, Dubai tenant is paying them rent. They couldn't believe it, and it happened. Because we were there, we were able to help them to be able to get their rent sent to them. They don't even have a Dubai account, right? So many of our clients were having to, get the money in dirhams and then use exchange firm to send their money to whichever account they have anywhere in the world they have. I can see a lot of you people asking how much, how much. So I can't tell you price because this thing changes. I don't know when somebody else will watch this video and will say, I saw that. In fact, we had that issue with the Ekpe, a couple of people reaching out. Daddy Free says it's 5 million. It's 5 million. You must give me at 5 million. But there was a caveat. There was a
Like,
deadline. So if you are interested in our US property, send a DM. My team are ready to talk to you and break it down for you. Whether you want to invest, whether you want to buy, because we have 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, 6 bedroom, but we're not going to get into pricing and you later start holding us to those things. So just send a DM. Our team are on ground to give you all the answers that you have, whether on mortgage, whether on pricing, whether on whatever. But typically, you don't need to live in the US or based in the US to invest in the US. Many people have investments, they don't even have US visa. But the good news is that once you structure it well, you can always get your money sent to you properly, and that is okay.
okay. A lot of people are typing. I can see comments. I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm interested. And the problem is, if we give out the number at the end of the day, we might have lost some people who are just driving from their shop to their office and they get into the office. And so can we have a contact number that I can pin, so that can somebody give us a contact number that I'll be reading out from time to time,
Yeah,
so that
so they can reach out to +234 81 800 00618 or +234 81 800 08119, or they can email info@gtexhomes.com. So I'm going to post it now. You can help us pin it.
let me pin it, and I'll be
Um,
reciting time to
yes.
time.
Yes, so they can.
All right. Okay.
Somebody is saying,
Fantastic.
where's your office in Kerry? We've not opened office yet. We should be opening office on the same property, I think, by end of March. So we have a building on the 40 acre. So we're converting it to an office, but that will be in March. So
All
March you
right.
can come, but we're doing a couple of events. We just did an open house in January. We're hosting President Obasanjo, Dele Momodu in Keri for even Omoju, a couple of people. If Daddy Freeze is free, let him come. In Houston. So we're doing a founders conference, and we all will drive to the property as well, and we'll explain again to people what we're trying to do, the vision, and how people can invest. So we've been doing a couple of visits, like an open house with different people on the property, but we'll open a full-fledged office on the property by end of March.
Okay, guys. So here is the number to reach Dr. Stephen, or the people who work for Dr. Stephen, on if you're interested in this particular investment. +234 818 0000618, or +234 818 008 119, or email info@gtexhomes.com. Gtex is spelled GTEX, homes HOMES.com. info@gtexhomes.com. So let's continue with our question. I'm finding this very, very interesting. And
But at the Freeze, what do you have against people investing in real estate? Because I think the argument is watch versus real estate. So your argument is that people should invest in watch than real estate.
my argument is, and let me explain, I'm using my house and properties I bought around that period as a yardstick. I'm talking about properties I bought in 2013 in Nigeria for $250,000 equivalent, are currently worth $150,000 today, which is $100,000 loss.
Mm.
I know someone who bought a property for $240,000, prime property in Gulf Estate, if I'm correct, in Port Harcourt. Today, the property is worth $80,000. So watches like the Rolex stainless steel. Let me use a watch I bought, for instance. I bought the Daytona Rose Gold for $24,000. It is worth today almost $60,000 used on the used market, especially if it's one of the rare dials. That is a profit in both Naira and dollars, while the real estate was a profit in Naira, but a loss in dollars because it was hedged against a fluctuating currency that is not, how do I put it? It's not really based on anything. The dollar, we wake up tomorrow, dollar is 1,000, next day is 950. So you might appreciate on the Naira, but as long as you are depreciating on the dollar, it is a loss. And my argument always is, down to the fuel in your car, everything is imported. The car you are driving is imported. The fuel inside is imported. A lot of the building materials that you are using to build your house are even imported. So if the US, for instance, will balance this out, even if you're not making money on a foreign currency, but because a lot of the things you use are locally sourced, up to 30 to 40% of American citizens drive American cars, if not 50% at a point. They have Lincoln, they have Chevrolet, they have Ford, they have so many of their own homegrown products that their citizens love, appreciate, and patronize. So my argument was some wristwatches, not all wristwatches, there's some watches like Breguet you will buy and nobody will buy it from you. While there are watches like Patek that people will literally be squeezing your neck to get it off you. And this has even led to a spike in crimes, especially in metropolitan areas like London and some other parts of Europe, where people are literally stabbed for their watches. Last time I was in the UK, if I wasn't going somewhere with a car and convoy, I was leaving my watch in the house. Worst case scenario, I really have to go somewhere and I'm going to use a bit of public transport. I'm going to be in the public. I'll have to hide it under a sleeve. So it has shown that these watches have improved in value despite being used. So that was my argument.
So my question, first of all, my first question would be, do you sell watches? Because it now sounds as if you are marketing. It now sounds
Well,
as if you are
I have
marketing luxury watches. Do you sell watches?
opportunity to sell a few times, and I
Mm.
found it very easy. I sold a watch in Dubai. It was still the stainless steel. No, it was the rose gold Daytona. I had two of it, and I went to Dubai, and I went to the Rolex shop. I took off the watch, put it on the tray, and I wore another watch. And by the time I looked around, I couldn't find my watch again. Where's my watch? One chairman with a kaftan. What did they call that white way those Dubai people they wear? Was wearing the watch on his wrist. I said, "That's my watch." He said, "No, that he wants it." You know how arrogant Dubai people can be. I said, "I'm not selling." He said, "No, I have to sell." It can't be like fight. Now, so Papa buy my watch. Then and there in the shop. So I'd witnessed it first, and I didn't particularly like the watch. Maybe if I really loved the watch, I might have dragged it with him. But the guy was not ready. He was probably apparently looking for the watch. They didn't have it. There was a waiting list, and he was ready to pay above premium. He was wearing it on his wrist. He said, "Just tell me, I will." This happened in 2017, and at that time, I made a premium of 3K on I didn't make much, but coming back home, I almost doubled the money in Naira. If I had sold that watch during COVID, I would have made $40,000 on it. So I've seen the best of both worlds. But you see, the argument is the balance. You cannot live in a watch. If rain is falling, you cannot run inside your watch. Watches too can be stolen the way land cannot be stolen from you. Nobody can stop you in traffic and say, "Hey, bring your land." So
Yeah,
there is
I
balance.
think usually, in fact, I know a lot of people who always argue with me like, I saw you Daddy Freeze. Be careful. Your values and that guy doesn't agree. But my argument is always, I'm not sure that the Freeze arguments are unreasonable. It's just that he has a way of getting everybody to talk and yab and but but if you settle down and hear him out, so there's a lot of sense in what. But I guess you also enjoyed the dragging and the whole he said this, he said that, and it helps your own
But
market. So
they don't know.
I think it helps your market. So I get that part. But my own argument, and I think you've even balanced it, is the fact that, first of all, not everybody, I'll tell you why sometimes people living abroad don't want to buy property in the US. I just told you now, okay, people can drop 30%, right? They'll get mortgage for 30% and for 70%. Some people are even doing as low as they will drop 10%, 15%, and then they will get a mortgage for 85% that they freeze here in the US and the UK. First time buyers in the UK can even get 90%. So they drop 10%, government will drop 10%, then they get 80% mortgage, right? But here's the problem, and most people don't even know this. Do you know that if it's your first 10 years of paying for your mortgage, you have not even paid for the house?
Mm.
right? You are only paying the bank's interest. And you can ask as many Nigerians who bought property using mortgage. They will tell you this story, particularly the ones in their 60s. How 10 years later they lost their job, they missed 3 payments that they freeze, and the entire money they've been contributing for 10 years gone, and the bank takes over the house. In the US, in the UK, these are facts. These are facts. So everything has its own. And for me, I think one of my strengths is the fact that when people argue real estate with me, it's very difficult for them to win because I play in all markets. I play in the Dubai
Mm.
market. I can tell you how that one works. I play in UK market. I can tell you how that works. I play in US. I play in Nigeria, and so I can tell you the advantages and the disadvantage of all of it. Everything kind of has their own advantages, has their own disadvantages. And what I always advise, which is the reason why our company is everywhere, is that
Mm.
diversify your investment. Some should be in naira, some should be in dollar, some should be in pounds,
How
some
many
should
people
be
heard me
in
say this?
dirhams, right? And if you want to indulge yourself, some should be in wristwatch. And like our mutual friend, some can be in which car is Pastor, what's his name, where he drives now?
Hey, Patobi lover,
Pastor
BT.
Toby. So you can be like Pastor Toby, right? And I mean, for me, one of the things I've always said is this: we oftentimes are too hard on ourselves, and we're
Mm.
just not being fair. Everybody has different story, everybody has different background, and everybody indulge one way or the other. My own is houses. I mean, people were shocked when I was living in Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and they were shocked. But you could say that's an excessive. Must you put all that money to get property in Burj Khalifa? That's the tallest building in the world. You could have put it somewhere else. But everybody in one way indulge themselves. Some people, their indulgence is even in giving. They can empty their account every day and just give. So let's just be balanced and let's diversify our investment. And if you like wristwatch like that, the freeze, go and buy. But here's my advice: at the end of the day, do not compare yourself with anybody. Settle down, analyze your life, who you are, and what is best for you based on who you are and where you are, right? Because I cannot, for example, even with all the success story, I can't compare myself with that. I still don't wear expensive wristwatch because my brain will be calculating how many houses I will build with that Patek and that. I'm thinking and I'm calculating how much profit will come. So life is, we're different. Life is in phases, men and sizes. You look at your life, you look at your story, and everybody has a story to how they live their life. I remember asking Pastor Toby when I met him too. My event that I hosted him in UK. Some people refused to come because I hosted him, and I said yes. In fact, after the event, some people came to comment on my page and say, "Hope you have learnt your lesson. We told you not to invite this guy." I'm not kidding you. But meeting the guy, listening to him, very humble. And I've learned over the years, I treat people based on the way they treat me. Oh. Is all
Mm.
this one judging people based on what somebody said? Some of us have grown beyond that level and we've paid our dues. Nobody is feeding me. I can build relationship with anybody and I'll build it based on how they treat me, not based on how they treat you or how you said they treated you. For me, meeting the man, very gentle, amazing person, very humble, and I got to understand the whole thing behind what he was doing. I'm trying to reach out to young boys who are into gang, who are into this. I have to kind of connect with them. All of these things attract those kind of guys, and I'm able to eventually preach God to them. I have a friend like that too here in Houston, Pastor Shola, Jordan, Adeoye were close as well. The same thing. If you go to that man's church, when he start preaching, you'll be like, so this man no Bible like this. But on social media, you see him come scatter everywhere. I'm sure you have seen some of his videos that went viral. But he used that to attract people, and eventually is still able to preach the core thing he wants to preach. So I think people personality are different. For me, I sometimes I live in certain locations just to also attract people to say, if I can afford to live here, you can trust me that if you're doing real estate with me, I know what I'm doing. Right? I have a show called Investment Chat in a Rolls Royce. All that again is not, I don't know you. Oga, I don't know you, I've never met you. Some people feel I'm trying to impress them on social media. How will I impress someone I don't know? I'm just doing my business, right? I have to look what I sell. So there are certain things you do just so that you can give confidence to your investors who will say, okay, for I can see some, like somebody is commenting, why are you bringing certain people? Oga, for me to be able to bring Obasanjo and Dele Momodu, you will trust me that what I'm doing is legit. So you should understand the dynamics. I'm not into all your politics or into whether you like the person or you don't like the person. And I think people need to grow and mature. A lot of these people who are always negative about everything, that's why they are poor. You see, as a rich man, you have to be understand that you are like water. Omi o lota. You will see
Mm.
Dangote with Christians. You see Dangote with Muslims. On Christmas Day, you see Dangote with his friends, and he's a Islamic person. So people need to wake up. And unfortunately, a lot of our people who take things personal, drive things on religion, drive things on ethnicity, they are going nowhere. They have nothing they are building. And so maturity hasn't come to play. Let me stop there before I turn this to a sermon.
No. I actually appreciate, because what you've been saying is what I've always preached. Diversify your portfolio. Today, a friend of mine, Bitcoin Chief, made an announcement. He said, buy Mimi coin at 0.25. As soon as I saw it, I just quickly bought only $1,000. I'm crying today. Why did I not buy $10,000? He just sent me a DM last night. He said, sell. I sold at 145. Sorry, 0.045. Doubling my money in 1 week.
Wow.
So, or almost about a 70% markup. He said, sell and buy back. I don't sell, I'm waiting to buy back. So what am I saying is, if I didn't have money in crypto, I just have some money saved up in crypto, just there.
Yeah.
If I see, I can plug in. I try to have money saved everywhere in different currencies, just in case you might have an opportunity here or there. Land, as far as I'm concerned, especially this land banking that your people are talking about, is sounding to me like a very, very lucrative and marketable idea, especially if you're at the future of the country and you are wait long term. There are some investments that are short term, there's some investments that are long term, that are very long term. So you have to identify what you are doing. If not, it will look like you are losing money. And I will tell you, Dr. Stephen, if me and you meet anywhere in this world, and I will drag you to a Rolex shop, and I will make sure you get on the list for at least a stainless steel Rolex, that you will come back and tell me that, Daddy Freeze, this Rolex is also a good investment. But let's come back to why we are here. And about risk. Every business has risks.
Yeah.
Watch. Ed Sheeran bought a watch for $50,000. That watch is worth $5 million. Wow. Stainless steel Patek Tiffany dial. But if they point Ed Sheeran gone for ghost, they don't collect the watch with that too. In Lagos, we saw the demolishing of the buildings. It's a risk. So my question for you is, what are the risks involved in real estate currently in Nigeria?
Beautiful. I think number one is knowledge. deficit of knowledge, and people will be surprised that that's where I'm starting from. Some people will probably feel I should start with demolition, because what happened is that the freeze, people have been deceived over, just let your land have C of O, you'll be fine. But what they don't know is that C of O is not everything. Okay? And there are certain things you need to really consider. A lot of people didn't consider it. For example, certain land, I saw the video that Lagos State showed. You will see a whole canal that they freeze, and they went to build house to cover the entire thing. To a
Hmm.
point you will not even believe canal is there anymore. So whether somebody did the C of O or not, this land is meant to be on a canal. I don't know whether you get my point now. Of course, we cannot deny that some people have some ethnic agenda, which we have told them we are not interested in those their nonsense. People built Lagos. In fact, Oba of Benin have even told you that he can argue that Lagos is Benin. So the senseless talk about, we Yorubas, they are taking our land. Did anybody put a gun to your head to take your land? People
Hmm.
paid for land, and it doesn't matter what ethnic group they are from. You have to respect the fact that they paid for the land. But the biggest problem that it frees is the knowledge issue. Most people don't even have the knowledge. And so they may be buying the wrong land and they think, oh, it has C of O, it has C of O. The point is, it's not about C of O. Did they give building permits? Was there a building approval? And what I've realized, I remember a land we bought. The land even has gazette. And, but we went to Ministry of Development in Lagos State and say, we've bought this land, we want to build. They say, no, zoo is what they plan there, is zoo. And we say, okay, can you, I'm not kidding you. In Ibejileki, this is thick forest. Nobody's living here. And they say, no, in our master plan, zoo, no fair possible. And we had to apply. Okay, we are not taking the whole thing. Can you cut this one for us for residential? And they approved. But for us not to have gone to get that, and then we go ahead, we build, and then we say,
So
but the land has gazettes. Eh?
I
You
said you'll
said?
be living in now.
Exactly, you believe inside zoo. By the master plan, you believe inside zoo, and you say, but it has gazettes, it has C of O, it has clinical. It's not just about C of O. I think people even scam. People don't even, C of O is exaggerated. What is even this C of O? It just means, certificate of occupancy, meaning the government allow you to occupy. But occupy for what? Occupy to put a zoo, occupy to put a farm, occupy to put uh, whatever. That's what it means. It's not equal to building permit. It's not. It's not.
I'm going to
So
part out. C of O is not the same as building permit.
it's
Doctor.
not.
Akintayo,
Even if
God rest.
yes, even if you
Shey una
collect
dey learn.
your vote,
Shey una dey
even if you
learn.
collect C of O, it's not the same. It's not the same as a building permit, because C of O just means we give you the right to occupy. The occupation can be for anything, right? So you still have to go to them and ask, okay, this is the exact thing I want to occupy it for. What people don't even know is that there are certain land that may not even have C of O now. And you can go to the government. And one thing with Lagos State, and you must give them credit. Again, we are not ignorant that some people have some ethnic agenda, and we have been calling them out. I am not interested in all those nonsense, ethnic nonsense. Nigeria belongs to all of us. All of us. Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, is Christian, Muslim, Babalawo, it belongs to all of us. Right? And nobody, right, can chase anybody away. That's a fact. So for me, that's my position on that. However, we also have to understand, did we break the law? And thank God, the beauty about those they demolish their house, as long as you have C of O, go and meet people like Falano, right? You can file a class action suit against Lagos State government, because part of the benefit of C of O is that if you then decide to use the land for public good, which is the right, yes, the law, the Land Use Act permit the governor to own the land, but for public good. So if Lagos State said we demolish because there's supposed to be drainage, public good, right? The concept of C of O is that they must compensate you because you paid them to get that certificate to occupy the place, right? So I think that the people involved should get good lawyers and all of them come together and challenge the government until they compensate them. That's a fact.
This is one of the most brilliant, this is one of the most educative sessions I've had in quite a while. Even me, I did learn. So CFO no mean say if you go there, go build. If not, you end up being a Zazu in the zoo. Dr. Stephen Akintayo, we've talked about what GTEx is doing in the international space. We've talked about the Houston property. Is there a number to contact? Is it these numbers if you're interested in? Somebody said this guy is good. When I enjoy Dr. Stephen. Normally, if I bring real estate, all these kind tough conversations, you struggle to have 150 people. If I bring Tonto Dike, Yabo Ojo, so when I see an intellectual conversation that has almost 5 people watching, I'm like, wow. It's either the topic is good or the person is good or a combination of both. And I can say today that you are even better than the topic. You are addressing concerns that, oh, wow, so it can be done like this. Every day we learn. This, for me, has been a learning session.
Yeah.
Let me give out the website for those of you watching on other platforms. info@gtexhomes.com. That's the email address. I beg your pardon, not website. info@gtexhomes.com. GTEX is spelled GTEX. Homes, houses, home, HOMES. GTEX Homes, GTEX HOMES. Info, INFO, info@gtexhomes.com. Send an email now if you're interested in investing, or if you just want to have more information on the projects GTEX is working on right now. You can also call +234 818 000 8119. I'll take that number again. +234 818 000 8119. Send a message. I'm sure that number is on WhatsApp, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, all the numbers are on WhatsApp, and you can reach our team. They're going to be willing to, help you out. You can send a DM as well, whichever one you prefer, WhatsApp, email, call, anyone you want is very good, and I'm sure we can work with you. I want to thank all of you for your compliments. I'm really grateful. Thank you for the good compliment. I appreciate it. I really do.
No, Nigerians are all marketers, just like you, Dr. Stevie. You started your journey from marketing. Everybody listening to us now saying, I don't have money, but I know an uncle that has money. If I bring my uncle, do I have a court?
Absolutely. I mean, the way we structure our business, everything you do, you have a court. In fact, they were just telling me, what was, I think, somebody in our management meeting said that the free is always influence for us. We need to start giving him a court, anybody that buys from him. I said, me, I approve. I definitely approve that one. I said, okay, I mean, I will approve that. I don't have problem with that. So absolutely approved. So my own is to give approval. But yeah, we do that. In fact, we've given out cars to people who market for us. We sent out, I mean, all expense paid trip. I think about 70 people went to Maldives, Dubai last year, courtesy our company. This year we've sent Rwanda. I think we've done Dubai as well. So we give a lot of incentives. Last year payout was over 200 million that was paid out as commission to people. This year, I think we probably will hit way more than that. In terms of whether our UK, US, Dubai, Nigeria, any, where we sell properties, you refer, and again, like I said, that's what gives me joy, because you will meet people. Of course, there are some people who don't like my face, and is there they are entitled to that, and it's none of my business. But but most of the time, you will meet a lot of people who will tell you, this man has changed my life, right? And for some of them, it was that they even sold for us and they made money, and it was very instrumental too. So for us, we do that, and I encourage people to do that. I have a famous quote that says that, if you don't like selling, you have written formal letter to poverty.
Mm.
Right? If you do not like to sell, you have written formal letter to poverty. My second quote on selling, and is that if you can sell shamelessly, you will be stinkingly rich. Let me say it
Mm.
again. If you can sell shamelessly, you will be stinkingly rich. Daddy Freeze is not poor because he's a salesman. And all he
Ah.
sells is the news. It's the news. If you want to know what's the latest, what's happening anywhere, go. I mean, people follow Daddy Freeze more than newspaper companies, media firm, because they believe strongly that. But that's what he's selling. He's selling the news. He's selling the information, and of course, advertisers then will come and advertise. But what is making him not to be poor, and he can never be poor in his life, trust me. I mean, and don't compare yourself with him. Me, I've been warning you people. You see, when I freeze talk, Afara will you are not him. You are not him, okay?
Oh,
You
you
don't
invited
have.
questions, Dr. Stephen,
Yes.
and I the word, the S word, so I'll just say poo. The ability, the my poo theory
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
remember it?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. I remember.
Are not business man, you cannot sell poo. And you can never be successful until they come back for more poo.
Mm, mm,
Just look
mm.
at the iPhone 15, a class act. As in, I'm looking at iPhone 15 and iPhone 14. Please tell me the difference.
Exactly. Even my own too, I've been wondering, like,
That
they
difference. iPhone 15
said
and
it has the titanium. I really don't, I don't know the difference with the titanium.
as in, they put Samsung charger and put titanium and are selling
Exactly.
million naira.
Exactly.
And people are buying, and next year we will buy again. If you
Exactly.
don't do that, you don't understand how to sell.
Yeah.
Your clients have to, and we are still going there and saying thank you, Apple. Listen, we are doing advertising for Apple. All of us that have
Yes.
this, when you go, you put the phone up
Exactly. Say,
titanium.
I'm an
Ah,
iPhone guy.
I'm
I'm an
an
iPhone
iPhone
babe.
user. My daughter had an iPhone. It got spoiled. So I was like, I don't have time. I will not change her money. My pikin won't come, they enter depression. She now said, I'm moving from an iPhone to an Android. She now puts sad face. I don't know when I carry my 2 leg, go buy another iPhone for her. So Dr. Stephen is 100% right. You must be able to sell and sell well and sell without shame. That's why
Without shame.
my money
With,
gone.
you have
Bad
to. I tell people,
hell.
I said, I'm a very spiritual person. I said this. I said, look, you look at Daddy Gio, he's a good salesman of the gospel of holiness, Jesus, very good at it. Right?
Very, very.
You look you
Just not sure, but they are selling it.
you look at Daddy Freeze. is good at selling the doubts in the message that the Jew has taught us. Some of us are not confused.
Dr. Steven has
I'm
finished
not
me.
confused. Right? But either way, he's selling something. And some people who have doubts will come again and say, hey, so now so waiting they talk for church, be true. I mean, so, but you must understand, first of all, I said the same thing about leadership. I said leadership is the ability to influence people. Now, whether you are influencing them for good or for bad, that's a different thing. But you first have to be able to influence. Hitler was a leader. Whether he's now a good leader or a bad leader, that's now the subject of debate, right? And people must understand that fact about themselves. You first of all have to master the art of being able to sell. Is when you have mastered the art of selling, then what you now sell is now what we will now consider, and how much the value of what you sell. And that's debatable. Some people will still tell you they don't want to buy land. It doesn't work. Some will tell you that it's that Dr. Steven they teach me, I know they buy any land. Me, na Rolex, I won't buy. No problem. But you first need to be able to build the capacity to sell. And so, yes, I love salespeople, and I've always done my best to work with young people. We've raised a lot of, we have 15,000 in our sales database at the moment. And you are free to join that network. And trust me, I love you so much if you're a salesperson, because that's where I started from. All I was doing was selling. I didn't have money. And gradually, as I was selling, I wasn't eating with my 5 fingers. I later built my own too. So I'm always looking at our salespeople as potential developers, as people going places, and I'm always after working with them. So we have a site called gtexandassociates.com. You can go and register to become one of our associates. You can sell any of our property all over the world. For example, if you sell the house we are selling in Katy, you get 3% of that. So let me break it down. Let's assume the property is going for $500,000. That is free. 3% of $500,000. Okay,
$15,000.
that's $15,000 for you referring. You will call you the buyer's agent. You're getting 3%. Yeah, I even have one other property I'm selling in the state of Georgia, 20 unit of 3-bedroom townhouse. It's fully built. People live there already, but we're selling it. And if you sell that one, I'll even give you 5%. It's going for $250,000, right? Yes, 5% of that $250,000 is yours. So I'm very big on supporting people to sell, because I understand how difficult it is. Even in the US, sometimes a lot of people have been deceived in Nigeria to think it's easy. How many people, I'm currently in London, you know how many people don't have a job here in London, right? They came here for either masters, they finished, no job. Some people, they even scam them to say they have nursing or care home for them. They're all here. Everybody's hustling. So it's not that easy, guys. And one of the easiest things that guarantee you will not be poor anywhere in the world is that your ability to sell. Because you refer one person, you are taking a cut on the total money they paid. And that is ultimately how you will build your empire.
Dr. Steven. Somebody's asking, do you have anything you are selling in the UK? Hey, Dr. Steven, they are really happy today. Oh.
Yes, so talk to us. I mean, the email is there, the number is there. Here is my concern that if sometimes you see people tell you, do you have in UK? Do you have in Dubai? Well, you now say, what's your budget? They said $2,000, $5,000, and okay, so send us a mail. Right? Let's ask you for it. And when the first question my team will always ask you, what is your budget? So don't tell them open budget. The rule of real estate. Anybody that tells you open budget, now with time waster, no answer them. Just ignore them. Okay,
Mm,
because real estate is not groceries. It's not t-shirt you are trying to buy. You must have budgeted it. There must be an amount in your mind. So first step, what is the budget? When we know your budget, then we can recommend which property in the UK suits that budget, right?
mm.
And if there's nothing that suits the budget, we'll tell you this money now for rent. You know, if you buy any house. So up to you. Open budget, yeah, yeah. We don't
Bible.
bring that one. Is that
I want more Bible for you.
okay?
Luke chapter 14, verse 28. When Christ was speaking one day, he said, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yes.
there's no way you are going into anything without having a budget. And this is one
Abuse.
of the things that Christ himself backed up in scripture.
Mm.
Cost, open budget, you know what, Christ say, you will
Time
not.
wasters.
Anyway, so much. Once again, the numbers are +234 818 0000 618. The second number is +234 818 000 8119. 234 818 000 8119, or email info@gtexhomes.com. info@gtexhomes.com. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Akintayo, for this wonderful session. We all picked up quite a lot. Is there anything you want to say as you are leaving? Your final words for us, Dr. Stephen Akintayo.
Well, my final words, thank you for having me on your show as usual. We hope, you join us in Houston. It would be nice to have you. Let me know if it's something you want to come around. We'd love to host you.
When
It's January, January second week. Let's say it. I mean, if you want to do your own private trip at a later time, let's know.
I would have loved to, but we'll talk, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, let's talk because I know you have a lot of fans in US as well. We would love to see
Oh
you.
yeah, US. Come to US. So
I know that a lot of them who would love to see. So thank you for having me. And for our listeners, guys, fear is false evidence appearing real, right? Ultimately, you have to be an investor. Ultimately, there's risk everywhere you invest. I just broke it down for you. If you default on your mortgage, even the one we're selling in the US, you can't say, but a Nigerian man get the property. But now bank give you the loan, they go take the property, right? So there is risk everywhere. Nigeria, UK, US, Dubai, anywhere you're doing property, there is risk. So first of all, accept the risk that it exists. Second of all, be well educated so that your decisions are very much guided. Number three, make sure that you diversify, you spread. Even for me as a businessman, it was intentional that we are expanding aggressively in Nigeria, but at the same time, we're expanding aggressively outside of Nigeria. Okay? And for us, the reason was because we understood that there's also risk, right? Something can happen to what we are building in Nigeria, but at least we can rely on the ones we build outside Nigeria. Oh, there's risk also outside Nigeria. Something can happen to the one outside Nigeria. We at least we bank on the ones that we built in Nigeria. So it's always wisdom to diversify and also wisdom to be objective and be personal in your decision making. Ultimately, you will be accountable for your actions. So take your time and look at what you're doing and ask yourself, Dr. Stephen has taught me this, yes, but can I also do my research and understand it for me? Daddy Freeze has taught me this, but can I also do my research and understand it for myself? So always invest in the knowledge of an investment before the investment itself. Let me repeat it again. Always invest in the knowledge of an investment to understand it before the investment itself. So don't be like a bad wagon anywhere belief is. If I have a rule, and I believe that's the freeze rule. When they zig, I zag. I'm always going the opposite direction. Right now, people are not buying property in the US because of high interest rates. Me, that's the time to buy because I can negotiate the property better. And I can start the investment when things are a bit difficult. And when the interest rate goes down, I refinance and I'm paying less. Right? So go the opposite direction because usually the masses are oftentimes wrong. It's just anywhere belief is, just follow majority. So that would be my advice.
Stephen, you know me, I've always gone the other way.
I
Yeah,
know, that's what I'm saying.
fine word.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I learned a lot today, especially C of O. C of O does not mean building permit. I also familiarize myself with the property situation abroad and how it could be a considerable investment. Also, I went there firsthand and saw the land banking scheme at Ekpe, courtesy GTEX Lands. And every day we learn. One thing I learned above all is get the knowledge of the investment before the investment. Thank you for that, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Look forward to speaking to you later. Take care. God bless. And thank you for this session.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye-bye.
That was awesome. I learned plenty. I learned. God bless you, First Lady.